Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, the Most High, our Creator and our power, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord, our Savior, and our Deliverer, the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. Call Halayamla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechakodash. And double honors be unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. And salutations, peace, blessings, and safety unto the hopeful elect. It's gonna be a real quick lesson, man. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on this article that one of the elders posted in the chat. And man, if I'm gonna read the article title, and then I'm gonna see if I'm gonna read a little bit of what the article says. All right, so this article via Newsbreak, the Newsbreak app, it says a Muslim dad and sons allegedly drowned a teen over quote unquote Western lifestyle, refusing to wear a headscarf. And people who don't have understanding of judgment, they'll read that or see that and they'll be like, what the fuck? This they killed this girl, they killed this woman because she didn't want to wear a headscarf. So it goes on to say, because this happened in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, in the Netherlands. Okay, and it says Dutch prosecutors demanded Friday that a Muslim father and his 2 sons face up to 25 years in prison for the alleged drowning of an 18-year-old family member because they believed her quote unquote Western behavior was bringing shame to the family. And these are so-called Muslims, right? These were Ishmaelites that did this, right? And we already know over there in the Middle East, the customs that they stand on and that they live by over there is very strict. Over the years, it's gotten real lax. In some countries, you can get away with a lot more than you used to be able to get away with in some of those Arab countries. But you still have certain areas where it's still strict and it's still by the book when it comes to how they live. 'Cause, that goes back to our custom, okay, us Israelites, man. The so-called Muslim um customs, not everything that deals with Islam, but certain aspects of Islam, like for example not eating pork, and them pretty much forcing their women to wear hijabs, and certain of them, they don't, when it comes to, like, partying and gatherings and things like that, they separate themselves from women. The men party with the men, the women party with the women, so on and so forth. Women, um they don't work. Again, some countries, they adopted that lifestyle to where women are able to work now. At one point, women in some of those Muslim countries, women wasn't even able to drive cars. But now, a lot of things have changed. A lot of those countries got weak, and it's a lot more that's accepted now. But this was in the Netherlands, right? So, oh girl, she got a little ahead of herself, right? She got a little comfortable, thinking that just because we're not in a Islamic country, even though my family is Muslim, we're not in the Islamic country, so you can't really enforce that. I can do what I want to do because it's not a law of the land, so to speak. It's not something that's widely um, enforced. It's just my father's trying to oppress me. My brothers are trying to oppress me. So she got a little frisky, right? She got a little ahead of herself and thought she was gonna be able to get away with it. But hey, the father and the sons was like, you got shit fucked up. Like you tripping. You bringing shame to the family because that's not how we raised you. And keep in mind, man, according to the scriptures, that woman is the possession of the father. Until that woman goes and gets married, and a man takes her on, that's his possession. That woman is the possession of the father. So that father can do what he will and raise that woman how he pleases until a man takes over as the owner, or the owner. Okay, the um, possessor, if you will, of that woman, man. So let me see. It says the body of Syrian woman Ryan Al Najuri, right, when she was 18, was found submerged in a lake with hands and feet bound tightly on May 28th of 2024 near Jor in northern Netherlands, 6 days after disappearing, according to authorities. So this happened over a year ago, but somehow the article just now came out. But maybe it's just speaking on the case or whatever. So continuing on, it says, yeah, blah blah blah. It says officials arrested her father and two brothers, then aged 22 and 24, and charged them in connection with her killing, which prosecutors said likely happened on May 22nd. All right, so yeah, man, they took things into their own hands and they enforced the law on her ass, and rightfully so, because she was being rebellious. She was being rebellious. She was going against the grain, and she got too ahead of herself. She allowed that Western, which ultimately goes back to the Babylonian lifestyle and customs of wanting to be free, wanting to be out in the open, man. And people that don't understand judgment and don't understand order, and our customs as we were giving them, they'll look at that and they'll see that and just think that's just completely crazy. Oh, the father and the brothers, they just crazy. They was out of their mind. They was possessed. They was demons or whatever. But she was the one that was off. Because it's not just as simple as her not wanting to wear a hijab, man. Okay, it's a purpose. It's a spirit that comes with wearing a hijab, man. When a woman, has her head covered, it shows shamefacedness. Okay, it shows humility. It shows discretion. Just the same as when a woman is walking around with her head uncovered. Hey, that's the spirit. It's a woman right there. I can't make this up, bro. It's a woman across the street walking with a hijab on, bro. You can't make this up. And she got a dress on, bro. I believe she might be Ishmael, but that's crazy. Hey, call on y'all about Shimmy outside. That's I just looked up and just seen a woman walking down the street with a hijab on, bro. Hey, call on y'all about Shimmy outside, but hey, it just goes right into the spirit, man. Because it's a spirit that comes with wearing a hijab, as I was saying, man. It comes with humility. Okay, just like women, they walk around with their head uncovered. They want to show it off. A woman, in her vanity, most women they're conceited. They're very self-centered, and they stay in the mirror for hours on end, trying to look pretty, trying to adorn themselves with vanity, man, with makeup, with earrings and piercings and all those different types of things. Them eyelashes and all that shit like that. And that's all vanity, man. That's not, as the scriptures tell you, those things don't. That's not the real adorning. Those things don't really make you a woman. Okay, it's your spirit that your chastity, um your ability to be subjected, okay, or submissive rather. Your ability to be able to be led and to be, humble, man. Those are feminine characteristics that make a woman who she is. Those things adorn a woman. It's not your pretty little eyelashes and your eyebrows, and your eyeshadow and all that bullshit. Okay, a woman, when a woman get her hair done, she want to go, show it off. She want to go, to the bar. She want to go to the club. She want to be out in the plaza, walking around just so people can see her hair and she can get some compliments. She wants to go show that off, man. But a woman who has her head covered, she's not concerned with those type of things, because the only one that's even able to see her hair is her husband at home, or if she don't have a husband yet, her father. Okay, even when she's at home, she got her head covered. Okay, but for the most part, a woman is her hair is only really supposed to be seen by her husband. So I'm gonna get some scriptures, man. It's chapter 2 and verse 3. The aged woman likewise, that they be of holiness, Not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, right? And these are just characteristics and things that women, the older women, are supposed to know and live by, and also it's supposed to pass down to the younger women that they teach, man. Because a woman, she's supposed to teach other women as well as children up until a certain point. But women teach each other. They're supposed to be able to give each other um, advice and helpful tips, man, as of how to be a good woman, how to be a good wife. All right. It says verse 4, they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, right? Key word, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. Okay. And part of that is, it's there's other things that go in, that goes into it. But part of that is a woman keeping her head covered, man. Her head covered it keeps her in check, so to speak. It's just like it's similar to a man walking around with fringes on, you know. Even though we don't do that nowadays, some Israelites do, but just the overall idea or purpose of wearing the fringes is to remind you to stay on point, to stay, in line, okay, and to abstain from evil. The same way with a woman, she has her head covered. You know, that hijab is a constant reminder to her of what she's seeking to be and what she's trying to project. Okay, a woman that got her hair out, you know, hey, that comes with the freedom. It comes with lust. It comes with you know temptation. Because a woman, she's gonna want to be seen by other men and get compliments, and she gonna eventually shit want a man to play in her hair and rub her hair, and it's a domino effect of temptation. Okay, when that woman got her head covered, it eliminates a lot of things, man, a lot of pathways, if you will. And I even asked ChatGPT, right? How ironic, I'm asking ChatGPT about spiritual things, but I just wanted to see what it would say. I asked ChatGPT, what is the spiritual significance of a woman wearing a hijab? And this is what ChatGPT said. It says, right? It says the spiritual significance of a woman wearing a hijab can vary by individual and by tradition, but several core themes are widely recognized in Islamic spirituality, right? Because for the most part, a hijab is widely recognized in the Islamic religion. Okay, again, but that comes from our custom. Okay, the custom of Israel. Verse it says, number one, it's an act of worship. You know, for many Muslim women, wearing a hijab is primarily a spiritual act of obedience to the Most High. Okay, and just chew the meat, spit out the bones. When it says Muslim and Islam and all that, just disregard that. But it's even the scriptures tell you when a woman prays, she's not to pray with her head uncovered because it's shame unto her. The same way a man is not supposed to pray with his head covered. Okay, it's the opposite for a female. Where a woman, she's supposed to have her head covered when she pray. Really at all times, but especially when it comes to prayer. All right. Continuing on, number 2, excuse me. It says it's a sign of inner modesty. A hijab is not only about clothing, but a whole spiritual attitude. It symbolizes humility, modesty, modesty of heart and behavior, and consciousness of the Most High. Right. Again, it's a constant reminder. It's actually a stamp or a signet, a sign of that woman's spirit. Women who walk around with a hijab, they
David, can you come see me, please?
Salakia. Turn this little walkie off. So yeah, it's a sign of that woman and the respect that she has for herself and for her family that she represents. Um, betrothed to a man, married to a man, and a man takes her on as his possession, then that woman then goes on to represent her husband in his household. Okay, so it's the consciousness of the Most High. All right, it's that a representation. Women who wear hijabs, not all, because you still got some demons that wear hijabs. Don't get it twisted. All right, but for the most part, those women tend to have more respect for themselves. They have something, some kind of standard that they live by. Okay, that's not a common thing in America. When you see a woman walking around with a hijab, most of the time, 90, damn near 95 to 99% of the time, is going to be um, an Ishmaelite woman. Okay, sometimes it might be a Kush. It might be uh, one of the Hamite women. Because Ham they practice that to some extent. Okay, but for the most part, it's gonna be Ishmaelite woman, man. Okay, very rarely you'll get other nations. Okay, maybe Elam sometimes, but even Elam they don't really do that. It's mostly Ishmael. Okay, but continuing on, it says the outward covering reflects the inward effort to cultivate purity and moral conduct, and that's on point, man. Okay, and hey, nowadays if you see a woman, it don't matter if you a man or a woman seeing it. People in America, period, when they see women wearing a hijab, it's taboo. It's something that's foreign. It's not common. Experiment done where they had there was an experiment done where they had this woman walking around, just with normal attire on. And whether it was staged or not, it don't matter because it's still relevant. But this woman, she walked around the city, different areas of the city, and men, she didn't have no hijab on. She wasn't dressed in modest apparel, and men would catcall her, whistle at her, try to holler at her, you know. What the fuck? Okay, it's lucky. But yeah, and whistling at her and stuff like that. But then the same woman, they had her put on a hijab and put on, like I believe it was a dress, just modest apparel, and do the same thing. Walk around the city. Men didn't even look her way, let alone catcall her, whistle at her, try to holler at her or anything. So not only does wearing a hijab and modest apparel, it reflects the respect that you have for yourself, but it also it demands and attract a certain respect from other people. Okay, that's because it's a way that you carry yourself. A woman that's out there that got on some real tight leggings, or she got some little bitty booty shorts on, a crop top, you know, with tattoos all over. Hey, most of the time a man see that, and hey, his radar going off. All right, antennas, ringing, and he trying to see what's up with that. Because that's how she's promoting and presenting herself, man, as she just a little piece of meat, and it's wolves around, man. But a woman who she got a dress on, or she might have some, hey, sometimes they'll wear the pants, like the chick I just seen walk across the street. She had on some pants, but they wasn't tight. They was flowy. They was modest pants. Even though her ass ain't supposed to be wearing pants, but even the pants that she had on, they was respectful. The way that they was um made. They was like almost baggy, but flowy. You know, and it wasn't tight. They wasn't showing her. I didn't see her hips. I didn't see her her butt. None of that, man. And she had the a nice blouse on, and she had her hijab on, man. That shows respect, and most of the time you ain't gonna see no, ain't nobody gonna be driving past trying to break their neck trying to look at her. You can't see nothing. Now hey, brothers know what's up, man. Hey, that's to me personally, that's very attractive. A woman that wears a hijab, that's modest like that. Cause hey, women, a lot of women I've seen, they wear hijabs, and they very attractive, man. They very feminine, and those things, to me personally, that's very attractive. A woman who has those feminine characteristics, man, and she's not just out there, out in the open, on display. But other people they think number 4 it says a form of identity and belonging. It's spiritually the hijab can represent being part of a global, it says Muslim community. It says it's a badge of faith, a sign of belonging to a tradition that emphasizes the Most High conscious living. Okay, in a way to stay spiritually grounded. It's a symbol of autonomy and intention. For women, for many women, the spiritual meaning includes choosing to obey the Most High willingly. This intentional choice can deepen personal spirituality through self-discipline, commitment, and self-inner strength and purpose. And yeah, I'm gonna disregard that part, right? So just because it said that, I'm gonna read this. Proverbs 31 and verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Most High, fears the Lord Yahweh, she shall be praised. Okay, and that's a valuable woman, a woman that fears the Lord. Okay, because that if that woman fears the Lord, she's gonna respect, be mindful of the way she's conducting herself. Man, she's not gonna be out there being loose, searching for attention, being all in the mix, you know, and doing all the extras, man. She's gonna be, um, mindful of herself and working on herself as to become a woman that's desirable. Okay, a woman that's able to be valuable to a man. Okay, so like, let me get these bots off here. Anyway, okay. So yeah, man, like it says, that favor is deceitful and beauty is vain because again, those things, yeah, they're good, and men naturally want an attractive woman, a beautiful woman. That's how we hardwired. We love, but if that woman is drop dead gorgeous and she has terrible characteristics, she don't know how to be a woman. She's not humble. She's not submissive. She's loud and boisterous, and she always want to be out in the mix and want attention. She all that. She don't take care of herself hygienically, and all those different things. That beauty don't mean a goddamn thing. You can be drop dead gorgeous. I've met plenty of beautiful women, and as soon as they open their mouth, it's like wah wah wah. It just everything that's on the outward, on the outside, it get cut in half. It's a lot of attractive, so-called beautiful women out there that are very, very ugly. I'm gonna just say that because their spirit ain't right, man. The way that they live, their habits is just, you got some pretty women that smoke. How many, so-called, I don't call no woman a 10. The only woman that I would ever call a 10 is a woman, which we ain't gonna get that on this side, right? The tens, we gonna get that in the kingdom, you know. But I've come across some nines, some women who are very, naturally beautiful, but they smoke weed, or they loud, or they're very self-willed and headstrong, and you can't tell them nothing. They have masculine characteristics. That beauty don't mean a goddamn thing, man. That's why beauty is vain, and we're not supposed to seek women for their outward beauty. Okay, even though it's a plus. All right, but like I said, man, a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. All right, and that hijab is a signet or a sign, a token of the respect the Lord, excuse me, the respect a woman has for the Lord. Okay, and if a woman respects the Lord and fears the Lord, she's gonna fear and respect her husband because he is her Lord. Okay, that's how a woman shows her faith and her fear for the Lord is through her husband. The way that she respects her husband, man. All right, let me get a couple more. Sirach 26 and verse 9. It says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Okay. And it says her haughty looks, man. Again, a hijab, with wearing a hijab comes chastity, it comes discretion, it comes humility, not wanting to be seen and being out there in the open, man. Even though, hey, I be seeing so many different women, mostly out there, and of course they in the Muslim religion or whatever, but out there in different countries, even like Australia, Morocco, those different places like that. um they, hey, you can, women are very caught up in style and clothes and things like that, and they don't understand that there's so many different ways that you can style the hijab, man. You can still dress nice, and you can still feel good about yourself and still be modest. You don't have to wear little to no clothes to be attractive. You don't have to wear all of these different, clothes that women wear, the super tight clothes, just to be attractive or feel good about yourself. You can still wear modest apparel and be just not, excuse me, be just as, if not more attractive, right? But we live in a world where the customs and the mindset, the spirit of Babylon has tainted everybody, okay, especially the women. Back to Sirach 26 and verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, which is, hey, make it difficult for her. Okay, if your daughter has some shameless ways about herself, you got to start from the beginning when she's a little girl, so that she don't get beside herself and start trying to rebel. But if by chance she do start getting getting beside herself and trying to live shameless, as this woman was, right? Because they liked calling women who are 18, or even 17, they like calling them girls or teenagers, but those are grown women, man. Those are adults. Okay, it says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty, man. Because women are naturally opportunists, and the more liberty, the more abuse they self, because women are not good decision makers. They're gonna abuse themselves because they're gonna seek after what's good, what feels good, what looks good, what's popular, hey, so on and so forth, man. And hey, the spirit, it do what it do, man. Stock it. Give me a second. It's undefeated, man. Hey, the spirit is undefeated, man. Cause just like I was speaking on the spirit that comes with a hijab, and then, hey, the Lord made it to where this woman walked down the street with a hijab on. As I was just talking about, a woman who abuses herself with over much liberty. Hey, matter of fact, this chick I work with, right? She just got in the car next to me, and she falls into that category. I'm gonna just say that, man. All right, and you can read between the lines, but hey, that's what it is, man. And you know that's why it's always important for a man to be in his children's lives, whether it be a daughter or a son. Okay, because that father sets that structure, man. Right. This chick that just got in the car next to me, man. Whether I don't know if she got, I don't know nothing about her, honestly. But I don't know if she got or if she had her father in her life, but it don't seem like it. Because you do have that too. You have women who do have their father in their life, but those fathers are weak. Those fathers give them too much leeway, and then it end up backfiring. Okay, but I ain't gonna harp on that too much. Let me continue on verse 11. It says, "Watch over an impudent eye." Okay, and impudent meaning not showing due respect to somebody, right? Being disrespectful, being impertinent. Okay, and that's what comes with being, you know, um, having your way. That's what comes with having your way, man. When you have your way for so long, you're gonna feel like you are due, you're gonna feel entitled. You're gonna feel like you're due whatever you want. Whatever you feel like doing, you're gonna feel like you should be able to do it. And if somebody tell you no, you're gonna feel disrespected. You're gonna feel like somebody is being mean to you, or that the other people is wrong and you're in the right. All right. It says, watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he have found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. And it starts with the hijab, right? It starts with her. I just want to be free. I just want to feel good. I want to get my hair done, and I want people to see my nice hair. Okay, it starts there, but then next thing you know, she gonna want to be out all the time. And then next thing you know, she gonna see that the attention that she's getting from men, she gonna start liking that, and then she's gonna become addicted to it. And next thing you know, she getting bust down by all these men. And then she see the traffic that she's accumulating on social media, and now she want to do OnlyFans. It's just a constant cycle, and a domino effect. Again, it's a spirit that comes with it. That's why it's so important. Okay. Let me get one more. Right. Because people don't, people have to understand why whatever happened, man. Because she, again, that girl got beside herself. 1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Okay. And what's the reward of a witch? What you supposed to do with a witch? You're supposed to burn her. Even though she didn't get burned, she got pretty much the opposite. She got drowned, but she got taken out nonetheless, man. All right, got took off the earth because of her rebelliousness. Because that rebelliousness, all she had to do was keep the damn hijab on, keep her head covered, and represent her family respectfully. But no, she wanted to take it off because she seen somebody on the internet, on social media, or she maybe talked to somebody, one of her friends that was deciding to do it, and she wanted to be like them. And next thing you know, you out of there because of your rebelliousness, and you receive the reward of a witch, man. It says, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. All right, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord Yahweh, he have also rejected thee from being king, right? And the point is the first half. But yeah, that's why she received the outcome that she did, because of her rebelliousness, man. And a lot of our women are rebellious, you know, and that rebelliousness is as the sin of witchcraft. So a lot of women in these last days are going to receive the reward of a witch, man. They're going to be burned. A lot of them going to be burned, and others is just going to be straight up trodden down, man. Because majority of women, women period, but especially our women, they're very, very rebellious, very disobedient. They'll tell you shit like, "Oh, you're not my father," but you don't even respect and reverence your father. So how can you possibly reverence and respect a man, your husband? All right, but order is coming real soon, man. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick through the spirit, man. Lord willing, I pray it was edifying, and with that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Kakadash. I double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety to the hopeful elect. BTA, your Bible ball. Call me out, y'all. Till next time. Shalom.